became a servant of all. That's love. Is that you? You just love to serve wherever you can. However I can, whoever I can, whenever I can. At work, at home. You get older, life changes. Connie and I been married a long time. Won't be long, it'll be, 57 years. And when we were young, I never did a dish. I never washed a spoon. I'm just being honest. No, he's not married. We did. I mean, when I ate, I probably didn't pick it up off the table. But as you get older, I wash dishes, pick up my plate. I wash her dishes sometimes. I wash pots and pans, yes. But love over it. That's 58 years, a lot of loving, amen. A lot of appreciation. And you begin to help. Well, you get older. I was watching Pastor Mitchell. He's 90. I just saw him in Jacksonville, Florida. And, he's starting to age. You were there, people coming up to me constantly, even his walk. We went out to eat that night, and we were going to eat at the Cracker Barrel. And he's so used to eating at Golden Corral. That's his favorite place. And he went to Golden Corral and he's wondering why nobody's there. And it's closed. Finally, he makes his way to us. His son-in-law, Jeff Renz, was following him, said he was driving 30 miles an hour and running off the road and everything. But you don't want him to take his driver's license. But life changes you. Age changes you. He told me not long ago, of course, Sister Mitchell's passed. And he said, I asked him, I think it was in Florida, I said, how's the loneliness? It's terrible. You come home, no one's there. And you wake up, no one's there. Life has different chapters. But love. Love does not behave itself unseemly or unbehaving. Corinthian church had horrible behavior. You read it. I mean, he was constantly having to correct them. Gossipers, adulterers, unforgiving, jealousy, it's on and on and on and on. It was like a bad magazine. He says love is a gentleman. Love is a lady. How you speak and how you dress, how you relate. Said that's love. Love thinks no evil. Love doesn't rejoice in someone else's failure or someone else's problem or their faults or their sins. It takes no pleasure in that, he said. It doesn't feed on gossip and tales and lies and social media, slander. Love is never glad when someone else falls or fails. It believes, he goes on, love hopes all things. Love lasts, it never fails, it lasts and lasts and lasts. Love believes the best, God's best for you. Love believes in people. Love always has faith in relation. It's going to be all right. It's going to be okay. God's going to help you. This is not going to be the last chapter. This is not the end. It's not easily discouraged. Listen, love is critical in marriage. Love endures. Love won't give up. Do you have the love of God in you? Have you been seeking the wrong thing? And I have before. I prayed, God give me divine supernatural faith. God, give me revelation. God, give me, and those things aren't evil. Anointing, and God, make me a blessing, and those things aren't evil. But Paul here is saying, pursue love. Pursue love. 14 verse 1, he goes on, pursue love, the very first words. 1 Corinthians 14:1, pursue love. Love. One of the problems sometimes with Christians, your struggles, your difficulty, is you don't have enough love. Paul knew, here's the great man of faith. He knew that love was God's powerful weapon in the human heart to survive life and live for God. Here's Paul, accomplished perhaps more for God than anyone outside of Jesus. Paul, you read his life, possibly endured more. The tragedies of him beaten and shipwrecked, lying dead and stoned and in prison and hungry and no clothes and snake bit. I mean, the list is unending. Perhaps sacrifice more. And yet he said, the love of Christ constrained me. It was the love of Christ that held me in all of these different horrible circumstances. Paul said, all of Asia has forsaken me. In other words, when hell assembled all of these circumstances and people and pain and assaults and temptations to destroy Paul, he said it was love that kept me all together. Love pressed me on. Jesus said, if you love me, keep my commandments. When you're in love, you can't keep people apart. I mentioned early in the sermon, Connie and I mean, and that's many here. You just want to be in one another's presence when you're in love. Yeah. I would walk to Ocean Beach. I'd take a bus. And sometimes if I had duty and I didn't get off in time, the buses quit running, I would walk. We're talking about miles from downtown Coronado Island out to Ocean Beach, San Diego. I would walk. Why would I walk? Because I was in love. Wanted to be together. You can't keep from talking about someone you love. You want to serve somebody you love. Let me tell you, if you love Jesus, how can you not pray? If you love Jesus, because when you love someone, you want to communicate. If you love Jesus, how can you not pray? How can you not want to be in His presence? How can anyone or anything keep you apart? Reason people backslide many times. The reasons people drift from God, go back to the world, do crazy things. And when you talk to them many times, they'll throw things out. But the real reason was somewhere they lost their first love. That's the real problem. That's the real problem. Because when you love someone, nothing can keep you apart. Can't keep you out of this book. Paul, this great apostle, makes this statement. He says, you have faith, you have hope, which both are just incredible. They said these somewhere may fail. Love never fails. Love never fails. Love never. A lot of things fail. Businesses fail. People fail. Prophecies, he said, they'll fail. Tongues, they'll cease. Knowledge will pass away. But he said, love never fails. I want to close with this thought. Just a few moments. I've been locked in on this thing about so many things that we do now is not just about now. Talked about it in the offering. It's about your future. Love is like that. Loving someone, the love of God flowing through you right now, is not just about now. It's about who you will be tomorrow and what that love may produce tomorrow. God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son. But it wasn't just about that moment when Jesus came 2,000 years ago. It was about you here 2,000 years later today. Come on. If it wasn't for the love of God, you and I wouldn't be here. Jesus wouldn't have died on the cross. Well, that's not just true in theology. That's true of you. Marriage is an investment in the future. Loving your wife today, loving your husband today is not just about today. It's about, should Jesus tarry 10 years, 20 years, maybe like Connie and I, 57 years later. There's this relationship that has survived life and been there. And you've heard me say, when my mother passed, Connie said, when our daughter passed, we're holding hands. Tragedy and heartache and agony and betrayals and all. When we're missionaries, we're holding hands in life. Love is not just about the I do. Love is about tomorrow. Love is about your children. Your children, you're the greatest Bible they're going to read. They may have children's church. They get a little older. They may hear me preach. Jonathan Heinberg touched on this in the men's rally. But you're the Bible they're going to read. When they see you love your wife. When they see you pray. When they see mom sacrifice for them. When they see parents' testimony. Jonathan Heinberg was talking. He said, my dad wasn't very spiritual. But he said, I got saved when I think he said 15 or 16. And he said, I was going to straighten my whole family out. You know, I'm getting up, going to outreach and stuff. He said, I got up one morning early, and there was my dad praying. Over in the dark corner, praying for me, mom, my siblings. And he said, I began to watch. He said, every morning I'd get up early. There would be Dad at home in the corner praying. And he said, and he was raised in the Prescott Church, talked about this. He said, I probably heard hundreds, maybe thousands of sermons on prayer. I don't remember one of them. But I remember my dad praying and hearing him speak my name. It wasn't just about his dad Paul, those deceased today, dad and mom both deceased, praying all those years ago. It was about, here's a young man now. And he said, I want to be that to my children. Love is not just about this minute. It's about your future. It's a way. Love is a more excellent way. It's the way you're going. It's the path you're taking in life. It's who you are. It's who you will be tomorrow. It's what kind of life you'll have. It's what kind of person you'll be. It'll be the quality of your marriage. It'll be the quality of your peace. It'll definitely be involved in your relationship with God. Are you pursuing that? Are you after that? Are you trying to obtain that and demonstrate that? Is that in your prayer life? I ask you to bow your head with me this morning. People here this morning, salvation is, the older I get, the longer I'm saved, the more incredible salvation is to me. Oh, I remember the moment, 48, I remember the feeling of forgiveness. That was wonderful. I remember the excitement of going home, pouring out alcohol, getting rid of sin. Well, I remember that. But as the years go by, as the years pass, love is amazing to me. Love is amazing to me. Love amazes me. Love amazes me. The love of God. While I was yet sin, angry, violent, crazy, God could love me. That's what the Bible says about you this morning. And how that I didn't save myself. I wasn't even really looking for God. I knew I was a mess. But I wasn't even really. But all that He loved me. When I was a mess. And to be saved. To pray a prayer that the eternal God would hear and respond. Staggered my mind. Staggered my mind. That He would love me, Connie and I. He gave us a new life, a new world. That here, 48, soon 49 years later, February, early February, 49 years later, is still getting richer, more powerful, more wonderful, more rich, more rewarding, because of the love of God. Didn't deserve it, a minute did not deserve it. Didn't even know it existed. Didn't expect it. You're here this morning. You say, Pastor, that's me. I need Jesus this morning. I am not right with God. I'm not right with God. I'm not living for God. Right now, you just lift up your hand and say, that's me. That's me. Lift it up that I can see it. I see your hand in the back. God bless you. Thank you. How many more? Others. Just lift your hand. That's me. I see your hand. God bless you. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your honesty. How many more? Lift your hand. Others. Others. Lift your hand. That's me. I'm not right. I'm not living for God. Maybe you're backsliding. Here's my hand, Pastor. I feel the love of God in this place. I feel God. I feel God. Yes, God bless you. Thank you, sir. I need, how many more? How many more? Just lift your hand. Lift your hand. I see another hand. A couple more hands in the back over there. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, up here. I see your hand. God bless you. Thank you, sir. How many more? That's me. That's me. That's me. That's me. That's me. Your hands are lifted. Lift them again. You lift your hand. Lift it up and hold it. Lift your hand and hold it. Your hands are lifted. Lift your eyes and look at it. Sincere with God? I believe you are. Sincere with God? Over here, a number of people over here. You sincere with God? Sincere with God? Sincere with God? Someone else over here. I want all of you that lifted your hand, once you get up out of your seat and come. Someone's going to pray with you. Someone's going to pray with you. Would you come? Would you come? Someone's going to pray. In the back, over here, several men coming. Ladies coming. I want you to come. Come and pray with them. Love of God, the love of God. Rest of you, I'm going to ask you to stand to your feet.